I think I am losing my mind. Just a nice way to start a conversation, right? The socially awkward person at it again, writing out things that otherwise would go unnoticed, much like the rest of their existence in society. No offense. On the face of it, who actually knows when they lose their mind? Is it something so obvious as people talking to themselves? Probably not, now that most people go through their entire day with a pair of AirPods in their ears, or vloggers who spend most of their time talking to a little box and all the trolls in chat. I know, way to date the writing here, right? Well, my experiences are not that different, I suppose, but something that cannot go unnoticed as well. For the past 7 years I have spent my life in Japan, specifically Tokyo. In the beginning, while I was not alone at first, I still struggled with being isolated. A place where all you know is you, and any social life you have is still work or drinks with a higher up who couldn't give less of a damn about how you actually felt, but rather that you listen to how cool as hell they are. Spoilers, they're not. If that wasn't enough, most of those who try to find a social life in Tokyo will go to certain meetup groups or give it a good old go at dating life here. Of course, regardless of where you are from or where you are in the world, the dating scene is roughly the same, a boiling mess of people who are either desperate or socially pressured into being in a relationship because they don't want to be that guy. Alas, as you can imagine, that doesn't really fix the issues. You are still alone. 2 years in, no real change. My life here was in purgatory, and loneliness truly had no cure. Then, as most of you also experienced, came COVID. Nice to date this writing some more, don't you think? What could improve the pot of an overboiled pot of anxiety, much like a worldwide pandemic where you are a terrible employee if you are not willing to get sick for your company, and a worse employee if you do? Patriotism be damned, your investors on Wall Street want you. I suppose in this case it is the drunk old bastards in Toranomon. 4 years of lockdowns, keyboard warriors spreading misinformation on the internet, demonization. Christ, what a fucking nightmare. But it ended. At the end of it, many people, including myself, took that as a time to decide what things we actually hold dear and what things we wish to do now that our ability to act as individuals has returned. Things were, unfortunately, never as they were before. The meeting scene had changed. Conversations had gone from that of stupid banter to politically charged accounts of who you are, and if you do not agree, then fuck you. Society here also returned to its roots of forcing the young to listen to how sick as hell their senpai are for closing a deal that they had no real hand in the matter of, but god damn it, they were in the room for it. Though throughout this there is one thing that would not be influenced, no matter how many people were similarly affected by it: the issue of loneliness. 2 years later, I finally found myself in a position where I hate my living situation but am finding some ways to relieve the sensation. Then, it happens. I am out on a date, if you would call it one, where things go relatively well. I give Kami-sama my 10 yen because I do not have a 5 yen coin on me and joke about double luck. The next thing I know, I am taking photos outside of a park when a nice lady approaches me. She asks what photos I am taking. For those familiar, No one talks to strangers on the streets of Japan. Unless you are in the super rural areas, those people are nice as hell. It is the sakura season, and though it was nighttime, she was taking this opportunity to see the glorious trees in their brightest form. While it was not my initial plan, I decided to join her as she seemed keen on me showing her the best viewing spots as well. Unlike many encounters, our conversations are very in-depth and well throughout. Truly a feeling I had not been able to enjoy no matter how many people I've met over dating apps or in business conversations with clients. Finally, someone I can talk to is human. Someone who understands me and connects on a deep level. We leave that evening with an exchange of contact info from my end but not on hers. By the next day, she had disappeared. There was no message, no proof I had of this person ever existing besides the distance I had walked that night recorded by my Apple Watch, who monitors my every sense of existence. An unfortunate occurrence. Upsetting to say the least, as we had made plans to hang out on a separate occasion, but nonetheless a 1 in 10 years type of meeting, as this had gone to waste. The next day, I am at lunch. Those who know, the wait for food at some places in the populous city can be excruciating. Lunch for one at a family restaurant, sad in a way but made for such purposes. Again it occurs. One such person approaches me to strike up a conversation. Both solo in this endeavor, but a table that would be meant for two, our conversations would continue from the outside to the inside of this establishment. Why in 7 years no one would talk to me, yet in these 3 days there are so many that are like-minded as I. We converse about life as well as the difficulties of society, but also the things that keep us going. As they wish to continue to talk as much as I do, I once again exchange contact to keep this alive. Little to my knowledge, as the night before, there would be no message nor contact received on my end. All disappearing into thin air, as if the time I had spent I had been talking to myself or been greeted by a ghost, never again to hear their voice nor see their face. My brain now brings me to feel that while I experience these feelings and people for real, they may not be of this existence, but may instead be a figment created by my wish to find those of similar mind and desire in a place I am alone. The one question remains: am I losing my mind?